Hanji, how's everyone doing? Before I start, I'd like to do a shout out and thank you to Aniket for helping me out with building the presentation and and doing a crazy workshop that we did day before yesterday. I also wanted to give a shout out to the food team here, but they're not here. They have taken good care of us for the last. Bharti ji, thank you so much. Big. Yeah, so before we start, I have butterflies in my stomach, fair disclosure, because my wife's watching me speak for the first time live. So this should be fun. She does see me talk a lot at home, but this should be manageable. Okay, so I think before I start, I'll just lay out the talk in a structure that I want to talk about. So, backpacker in every home, this statement means a lot to me. It has driven a lot of my life for the last 10 years. It continues to dictate what I want to do for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, however long that is. It comes from a very deeply emotional internal place and comes from a journey that I took when I was working abroad and I quit my job and everything that happened to me, which led me to standing here right now. But before I get to this, which is the meat of on the bone, I wanted to do a quick introduction about who I am and what Mad Packers is and our journey thus far. Then after that, there's a section which was prepared specifically for this talk because I initially was not supposed to be here and do this. And I did not think that I had much to say on the digital nomad space. But during building this presentation, I have come to realize a big role that hostels in general, not just Mad Packers, but hostels at large in India have played in enabling early digital nomadism and how much alignment there is between what is being built here at Jungli and what we've been doing with Mad Packers and Ghost Ops and other hostel chains for the last 10 years. So let's begin. I think can everyone see? There's some really nice photos. I want everyone to see. I think this one is better than that one. I think. Yeah, perfect. This is the big. So yeah, so as whoever knows me knows that I like talking a lot. I like talking to people. Meeting new people is one of the joys of my life. This photo is from 2013 in Cambodia, Angkor Wat. A lot of people would have recognized. I am a professional chiller. That is what I identify as. I believe life is the main job and the work that we do is the side job. It's important to live well and meet people you love. So during that, I traveled a lot in hoping to build a better life for myself, met a lot of weird people accidentally and learned a lot of things about myself, about the world, about what people seek in general. And that all led me to start Mad Packers, which is what I represent and I do and build for a living right now. But all of this started when I finished my college and moved to Shanghai at 21. This is who I was. I had an amazing job. I loved what I did. But within 1 year of moving to Shanghai, I think something changed in me. I met a bunch of people who were building lives in very, very different ways than what we were taught in India. And I had only lived in Delhi, my hometown, before that. And I think subconsciously, after having multiple discussions, conversations, that innate desire to wander, to explore, to just leave and travel without any reason as such, kind of crept in my mind. And I started feeling a little discontent, not because I hated my job, but because I really wanted to be out there and explore the world. And because it was not easy, when you hate your job, it's easy to take a call and do it. But when you love what you're doing, right? And then there is a higher calling for you. And at 21, 22, to have that resonance to kind of see and hear what that is, that took me kind of 1 year to figure out. In that 1 year, I was being sad and sitting on benches and just thinking about life, like sad Keanu here. And I think 6 months into doing all of this, I spoke to a lot of my friends, for people who kind of knew who I was. And then I realized that before I wanted to quit my job, I was looking for a safety net before I took the leap of faith. And I realized inherently that was wrong. I think I needed to take a jump into the unknown. And 2 months later, I quit my job. I packed a bag and started hitchhiking across China. My initial plan was to go from China to India by road, no flights, and do most of it through hitchhiking and either bus and trains and all of that. The idea was to seek discomfort The idea was to seek challenges, because every time you do that, you get to answer questions about yourself. You figure out something that you had not known about yourself. So in that process, I quit my job. I remember in my last working day was 31st May 2013. On the 1st of June, two of my very good friends from India came to visit me in Shanghai. I spent 10 days with them. On the 11th of June 2013, in a common room in a hostel in Shanghai, when nothing was happening, the idea of Mad Packers just walked into my brain. Wow. It was not something I planned to do when I quit. I had no plans when I quit, but just the fact that I took the leap of faith, I got an immediate reward. I immediately, in 10 days, I didn't have to wait. In 10 days, something just like a seed was planted in my head, because I was just being lazy in a common room in a hostel at 2 p.m. with nothing to do. And just the thought walked into it, and I lived with that thought when I was traveling, and I'll get more into it later. And that eventually germinated into Mad Packers. This is it. This is what I've explained. These are some photos from my time on the road. This is my first day of hitchhiking. Packed a bag, took a bus to the outskirts of Shanghai, went to a petrol pump, got them to write a sign for me in Mandarin about my destination, and just went on the toll. Did not get a ride on the first day. Was completely heartbroken, came back, stayed in the same hostel where I had the idea. I was almost ready to give up, but something in me wanted me to try again. And I went again the next day. It took me 5 minutes to get a ride. Someone from Australia, a Chinese who's live in Australia, knew about hitchhiking culture, and they stopped, had a nice conversation, fed me lunch, and that was the start of a crazy adventure that lasted almost 10 months. This is one of the most beautiful spaces I've been. This is the border of China and Tajikistan. It's a place called Tashkurgan, beautiful grasslands and mountains. This is where I started the second part of my trip. This is from a scooty in Vietnam. Anyone who's been to Vietnam, it should be easy for them to realize. But through this journey, when I mentioned that the idea of when I was traveling and I would meet people, and everyone asks you the same set of questions. What do you do? Where are you from? XYZ. And for the question that was, what do you do? I would never tell them about my previous job. I would always tell them that I want to go back home and open a hostel. That was the manifestation I needed over hundreds and hundreds of discussions that I had with multiple different people. And after putting it, and I mentioned this in the panel yesterday as well, I had put it out there so much in the world that the world made sure that it happened. And I think I have firmly believed in that edict ever since. If you really, really want something, vocalize it. Don't be shy about it. Tell everyone you know. And a lot of people pretend to build not in public and build in secrecy and not tell people, only present it when everything is ready. I don't think that's the right way to do. Just let it out there and the world will make it happen. That has been my biggest learning. And while speaking to a bunch of people, came back to Delhi in 2014, had the option of either So I had my Neo moment, and I took a few months, and I did not have my laptop, but I could either have gone down the route of getting a job, and I was thankfully qualified for what I did. And I came from a family of non-entrepreneurs. Most of my families are scholars and doctors and academicians. But I had this option that get a new job or jump into the unknown, take the blue pill, and exit the matrix, and that's what I did. And that led to starting what is now Mad Packers. We started with our first property in Delhi in 2014, hit instant success, got amazing customer love, went on used that customer love and the money we made to open 3-4 more locations before COVID. COVID unfortunately happened for us at the wrong time, because we were planning a bunch of big projects, which we had to stop. But it had an unlikely benefit that we doubled our inventory without putting any money in. Because there was opportunity in the market. We had built a reasonable name for ourselves. So we had a lot of people who wanted to work with us. And it also made us believe the power of good negotiations to form partnerships. And I think now we are at 15 locations. We were at 15 locations until last year. We rolled some back, decided to focus on the product again, build the team again. And now we are on the path of growth again. We plan on ending this year with 20 plus locations across India. That is the plan. We would also like to proudly say that we are the only bootstrapped chain level in property, a brand in India right now. But we do not hate investors. We will most likely need your money at some point in time. I will decide that time. You decide the money that you have to pay me. But yeah, so it's been a tough journey. It's been a rewarding journey. It has taught me a lot. And everyone who knows me, the way I am, the way I speak, the way I talk is everything that I've learned through meeting people and building Mad Packers and going down that path of curiosity that I recommend everyone else to. I don't remember what the next slide is, so I'll yeah, so this is launch Mad Packers. This is our first hostel. First time we were houseful. This is me working. This is a digital nomad staying with us in 2013. Wow. This is again an Aussie guy biking all the way from Australia to Europe. Yeah. I still remember his name was Carl. He used to sleep with a tire, like a bike tire, right next to his bunk bed. And I still remember a crazy story about him is he needed to send his passport back to Australia to get a visa for some country. His father sent the passport back inside a tube of a tire. So he was in India, he had no passport, he could not have left. He somehow figured out a way to send the passport back to Australia. They shipped it back to him inside a tube of a motorcycle tire. That is one of the most badass things I remember from the early days. So I think this is a quick introduction I wanted to do about me and Mad Packers. I don't want this talk to be about Mad Packers as well. I want it to be about hostels and digital nomadism. Where are the crossroads? What are the similarities? What are the dissimilarities? I don't see what I can talk about, and I would love to either do a panel or contribute in any other way. And that was the first thing I said no. He said, okay, I'll think about it. But thankfully for him, he did not accept that response. He, I think, went back to a convo we had last year, almost the same time, when I was in Jungli for the first time. And me and Divi had a nice heart-to-heart at the balcony of one of the villas, I remember. And I think he took note of something that I mentioned as the current mission of Mad Packers, which is to have a backpacker in every home, right? So that is how he then leaned in. He called me again and he said, yeah, I really, really want you to speak on the last day. This is what I wanted to talk about. And I said, okay, fine, let's do it. But while building this presentation, and I started thinking about my work and digital nomadism, and after speaking to people like Mohit and Divi and everyone else who's building in the space, I started seeing I started seeing my business in a different light. I did not realize that Mad Packers, as one of the hostel brands and the other brands at large, have actually been the gateway for early digital nomadism in India. And that is what I'm going to talk about now and see and hopefully leave with an idea of how would I like to incorporate what I've learned and build it in the future. Unknowingly, hostels have created the core infra for early digital nomadism in India. We have accessible accommodation. Right now, a 20-year-old can come and stay in any of our hostels for as low as 5,000 a month, great Wi-Fi, community, AC rooms, all the standard amenities you would expect to have a comfortable stay. We might not have the best ergonomic chairs right now, but that's something we are learning and we are building for. So I think the 80% of the infra that any digital nomad would need, especially the kids who are starting young, who have a tight budget, but still want to be able to travel the world and work out of there. I think hostels we were not seeking these people, but we built infra that they could also use. And that has enabled, and then we did a internal poll with the people who have stayed with us, and almost 50% of the people who come and stay at Mad Packers do identify as digital nomads. The definitions are different for different people, as is the case for backpacker as well. But that revelation really made me take a step back and realize it was quite stupid of me to just write off what we did at Mad Packers and not look at the confluence between that and digital nomadism. So the same community DNA, we want people to come and meet each other, but at their own convenience, at their own requirements. We don't enforce anything on anyone. There's always something happening in a hostel. You can either choose to join or participate or go out and get drunk. There's no judgment there. Or you want to sit and have a nice chat across the common room table, or you want to do a potluck. I think all of that is very similar to what I see happening here, but with a different kind of audience. It's more young, more open to experiences, still learning, extremely curious. This is the key revelation. Infrastructure is actually boring. Building roads, laying Wi-Fi lines is not a sexy job, right? But it enables so much. A road is built, a bullock cart, a truck, a supercar, anyone can run off that road. Infra is important. Infra enables people to use it as they want and create value, right? During building this, I realized that what we are essentially building is more beyond a product or a service, especially if you build it at scale, is essentially infra. If India has 10,000 good hostels or digital nomad network stays spread across the country, that is good infra for digital nomads to come, live a lifestyle they want, they enjoy, and build something of value. So the idea is, how do you change your mindset as a builder and think of what you do as building infra, and maybe figure out a way of monetizing what is being built on that infra. That is one key takeaway I had in the last few days before. So just like roads have enabled affordable internet, 500 rupees a month. If broadband was not this cheap, or data or Geo had not come in, we would not be talking right now, right? Internet has played a massive, massive role in digital nomadism. It has made work mobile. It has made work move with people. And I think that is a big advantage. Same for electricity and power. We hope hostels and co-livings can do something similar, like the other main infra has done to enable entrepreneurship or nomadism. This is the fundamental question. This is what I am building at Madpacker. What if a 24-year-old could live and work from anywhere in India? Not rich, not funded, not privileged, just curious. This is my TG. This is what we build at large. If we can enable a young 20-year-old kid to travel for as low as 5,000 rupees a month and stay in a Goa or a Beer or a Manali, that for me is immensely powerful. That person will eventually gravitate to a place like a Jungli, or a place like a Ran Guhagar that Mohit is building, or a place like a North Table, right? I think we, in some way, are the gateway that without realizing that we have built, and that has made me feel immensely responsible for now, for what I build and how I build it. Yeah, gateway, not gate. We don't decide who gets to participate. We make participation possible. This is the best way for me to explain what my thought process is right now. While learning digital nomadism, I don't identify as one right now, but I think I will eventually once I understand what it actually means completely. But yeah, so I think we would like to build something which is as accessible and affordable for the masses as much as possible, and then let people play with it and let them take their own journeys. We don't want to gatekeep in any way. We don't want to build fences. We just want to open doors and let people walk in. We do have our own WhatsApp groups. We do have everything else. But these are the three pillars that I'm now think of when I'm expanding Madpackers. If I want to, how do I want to build it for the new age of travelers that are traveling with their work? They might call themselves digital nomads or not, but this is the key takeaway. So this was the second thing. Now we come to the main topic. This is what I'm passionate about, what this means, why a backpacker in every home is important, and why it inspires me every day. It comes from a very personal story. The Mayank who had left for Shanghai at 21 and the Mayank who left back from Shanghai when he went on his trip were two completely different people. 10 months on the road taught me so much about myself that the last 15 years in school and colleges could not. I grew up as an average Joe. I did not really have very big dreams. I did not really even think about the future. It was just life as it was. Not extremely aspirational, not extremely big in terms of ideas and the idea of life, but just being out there in the world, just putting yourself in difficult situations, meeting new people, transformed me to such an extent that the fact that I'm here right now is purely because I spent time on the road. And the idea is that if a Mayank can transform his life by spending some time as a solo traveler, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter how long the trip is. The fact that you are going out there into the world to explore and wander, if that can create an impact on me like this, what if something I build can enable it for hundreds of young Indians, thousands of young Indians, to build something which makes travel accessible, affordable, safe, convenient. And I think that is what drives me. That is what being a backpacker in every home means. So when I was thinking of a mission for Madpackers a couple of years ago, as we wanted to start again, we went through multiple missions. I wanted a mission to be one line, impactful, like a mic drop. And I think the more I spoke to people I knew, everyone told me that you just are passionate to make everyone travel. So just like we want a doctor in every home, we want a lawyer in every home, I think we want a backpacker in every home. That is good for society at large, that is good for people at large, and that is what we are trying to build here. More people travel, more people understand each other, that's very obvious. More people see beyond their bubble, that is much needed, especially in this social media fueled world we live in. We need some audio here. This is so Pankaj Tripathi in one of his podcasts said something which I really aligned with. It's just on similar lines of what I've been talking about. I'll just play the clip for you guys. मुझे लगता है 12वीं के बाद हर बच्चे को ना या तो ग्लोबल ट्रेन में मतलब स्लीपर क्लास में कम से कम पैसों में पूरा भारत घूमे बहुत सस्ता है हर जगह पे आपको घूमने मिल जाएगा यहाँ पर आप जा सकते हैं और वो यात्रा इस देश को घूमना ना आपको खुद से कुछ बना सकता है अच्छा वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दो I'll play it again जब मुझे लगता है कि 12वीं के बाद हर बच्चे को ना या तो स्ट्रिक्ट जब सरकारें करे या उसके माँ बाप करें या वो खुद से करे बिल्कुल लोकल ट्रेन में मतलब स्लीपर क्लास में कम से कम पैसों में पूरा भारत घूमे बहुत सस्ता है देश में घूमना बहुत ही सस्ता है बहुत घूमा हर जगह पे आपको धर्मशाला गुरुद्वारा मिल जाएगा जहाँ पर आप गुजार सकते हैं और वो यात्रा इस देश को घूमना ना आपको खुद से कुछ बना सकता है Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that the last line is the most powerful for me here, but I think for people who don't obviously speak or understand Hindi, this is one of the most famous actors we have right now in Bollywood and just Hindi content. And he's just saying that if every young Indian can just take the Indian Railways and travel the country for 6 months, this country will change. And the last line just basically means that just 6 months in traveling on the train and on a really, really cheap budget can just completely transform you as a person. So the last line कि ये यात्रा आपको कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँचा सकती है is fundamentally what I feel is fundamentally what I'm building for. This was a great funny way for me to portray this. Again, shout out to Aniket for making the magic happen. We will play this for like 20,000 hours now. This is what we believe. One backpacker, everything ships. Obviously, at scale, it creates a massive impact. One traveler, one family, one neighborhood, a culture. That's how it happens. One solo female traveler leaving from a village, coming back with stories, will have a massive impact on the other girls in that village or the neighborhood. These things are not talked about as much. They are not on social media. But this is where change happens. When a Pooja goes back to a neighborhood, talks about it, or when a Gitika goes back and she talks about the life that she's building for herself, the girls back home get super inspired. They don't get inspired by the big travel creators on social media. They get inspired by the people they know. So if everyone who comes back from the road can just share the gospel of travel and how it changes lives, I think the world would get better, and at least India would get better. What happens when you travel? Perspective, stories, curiosity, identity. I think identity for me was the biggest change. My idea of sense happened because of travel. I did not really think about myself very seriously back in the day, but I think for different people, curiosity being one of the big reasons why people travel. But these are the four main reasons that I can think of how travel benefits all of us. But to give a very simple analogy, just to end the talk and maybe open up for questions, the world is the actual LLM. You go out and the travel is way to access it. When you step out into the world, you can get to ask the deeper, more meaningful questions. I think a very easy analogy that I could think of was now we use ChatGPT and we have questions that we ask ChatGPT. But this is what I did in 2013-14. I went out in the world and asked, who am I? What do I want to do? What am I meant to do? Melody itni chocolatey kyun hai? Kitne aadmi the? All of that happened in 2013. But so, next slide हटा दी मैंने. अच्छी नहीं थी. इसके आगे एक और स्लाइड है. हाँ भाई. वो ओके टाटा बाय बाय वाली. अच्छा ठीक है. This is how we end. Was it on time? Oh.
Yo, thank you so much. Man, wait. Fun fact, when I started my digital nomad journey in India, after a bit of a breathwork retreat in Uttarakhand, I ended up in Himachal, and my first place I ever stayed was backpackers Manali, bro. It's such a full circle moment, and I think for anyone that is traveling or is new to traveling, I think hostels are such a great way to sample a place before you fully commit. Because if you need to find like a homestay for a month or two, it can be hard to find the right one. It's an art, not a science. You have to
Yes.
go and ask someone's auntie for their spare room and all that sort of stuff. And it's fun. But if you don't know what the vibe of the place, you know that you can just book a mat package, you can book a ghost house, you can get a hostel, and you can be sorted for a few days for a very affordable price and use that as an entryway into the town. So it's super, super important work, man. I want to ask if anyone has one question for Mayank. Geetika.
You have anything free chocolate.
You have to go to Italy now. You have to go to Italy and find out now.
Now we have a real question.
Yes, here you go.
As somebody who like, personally, I don't think I'm a very light packer and I'm always like a suitcase person. So what would be like your immediate tip for somebody who wants to explore backpacking but not be anxious that, oh my god, what if I run out of stuff?
Yeah, that's a crazy question, but I think just take a short trip. You'll figure it out.
Like with the backpack.
With a backpack, pack it for like a week or a weekend if you want. I think one thing that you realize in backpacking is you don't really need the stuff that we carry. You can live a life with very few items, and you can travel the world with like a set of clothes and tech that you can pack in one bag. I have done it. I know people have done it for multiple years. I think that's one of the other advantages of backpacking. It gives you perspective about how much you need and how much you waste. And I think just to answer the question for you, take a short trip, see whatever you want to pack 20% less, at least, and then see if you feel that you ran out or not. I would wager that you would not feel that you.
Awesome. Thanks.